I am Neha and I'm a microbiology scientist in Eldeveron. Currently, I'm located in Fargo, US. And just a brief introduction about myself. So, before that, I worked as a sustainability consultant in India with Adani and Tata Motors Group. And I have completed my PhD from IIT Bombay, and I worked as a research scientist in IIT Delhi. So, in our today, next 15 to 20 minutes, we are gonna talk about sustainability pillars and framework. So, I'm gonna discuss about a brief idea regarding the sustainability and why it is important and its current situation and where we are in terms of sustainability. So, here is a brief introduction why it's a matter of concern and why developed and developing nations are talking about sustainability and sustainable development. So basically, sustainability is a term where we can say we have to use the resources in such a manner like we are not going to deplete the resources for our future generation, and we have to conserve this for present situation. And in terms of sustainability, we have a sustainable development here, like the development which will be able to meet the situation or the present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Like we are not supposed to be selfish, like if we are consuming the resources now for us, we also have to think about our future generations, or maybe what is going to happen after 50 years or 100 years, or in the long run after 200 or 300 years. Though from early 90s, developed nations are talking about this, but it's very difficult for developing nations to maintain because they are fulfilling their needs or the resources based on the available sources. And we have sustainable engineering in place to ensure to use the resources without compromising the environment. So in the next couple of slides, I'm gonna talk about the history within like just 2-3 minutes. So the idea of sustainable development started briefly in 1992 during the Earth Summit, and Brundtland Commission report covered that, and that leads to the creation of Agenda 21. So the Agenda 21 is the goal and recommendation related to environmental, economic, and social issues that leads to UN Commission on Sustainable Development. And then that Agenda 21 converted into Paris Summit in France in 2000. And their main focus on they developed the Millennium Development Goal. These are 8 goals. And they decided, okay, we are going to focus on those 8 goals in order to maintain the sustainable development. And those are eradicate poverty and hunger, and primary education, and equal rights for women and empower women, and reduce the child mortality, and remaining are listed here, like improve maternal health and ensure environmental sustainability and global partnership for development. And we should have a plan or combat mechanism for disease like HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other such kind of disease. Unfortunately, these 8 goals, which comes under the Millennium Development Goals, were not able to fulfill their required journey. And then in 2015, in France, Paris Summit adopted this goal and gave this mission to the UN Sustainable Development Goal in 2016. And they have refined these goals. And after that, they selected 17 goals to transform our world. And still, we are working on those goals, and those goals are listed here. Some of them are same as the Millennium Development Goal, and some of them they bifurcated into more detail, like they have more towards environment, like 13 for climate action and 14 for life below water, and the 15th goal is for life on land. So here is the summary about all the 17 where we are working towards with the UN. All the developed and developing nations try to work on these ones. And we have a success in this regard. And from here, like, there is no standard approach for sustainable development. And because we don't have a defined pathways or a criteria how we are gonna deal with that. But in an overall framework, like, we should have environment and biosphere and all the flora and fauna should be protected and sharing in such a way like it's necessary for all societal needs, and it should be equitable, and no one in the group in the pyramid system have a unfair burden. And now we are talking about sustainable development, and these are the three main pillars: how we are sharing our responsibilities, how our society, economic dynamics, and environment sharing their needs. So, in terms of environment, we have natural resources available. And while we have natural resources available, we should also think about how we are gonna prevent the pollution in terms of air, water, land, and waste. So these are the four broad categories, but we have a lot of in this, like our, as per the UN Sustainable Development Goals, is the clean water available for everyone? Are we disposing our waste as a resourceful person? And is air sufficient or clean or sufficient enough or clean enough for breathing? And similarly, how we are sharing with social and economic. So here is a combined area where we are sharing with each and every domain. Like, this is the sustainability where social, economic, and environment come together and play a role. And there is also a sharing space between environment and social. So, like environmental justice, we should have justice and rules and regulations in place. Like, nobody can breach the breach those laws. And similarly, we have a shareable space in between environment and economic. So, in order to maintain the sustainability, we must have this pillar in place, and it should be equitable and should be viable, and no one have like more burden on themselves. And why we are talking about economic and social here? Because s- we need a social pillar here to sustain a high quality of life, to sustain a good quality of life. For economic, like, if we are using the environment resources for the production for as a resource material, that should have an equable profit on the economy and the environment front. Though engineered systems are working towards that to make it more responsible, but overall it's a synergistic mechanism. We are sharing, and at the same time we are maintaining, like, nobody will get a more or less. And like, how here we talk about all the theoretical aspects, how they are sharing with respect to social, economic, and environment. So we have a weightage mechanism for that, and corporate sustainability assessment has done a good job. They are releasing every year their reports, like if there is a change in the scale and weightage of economic dimension, social dimension, and environmental dimension. So they have categorized almost all the industries and given the weightage to them, and what kind of parameters or dimension we should consider in order to sustain and maintain. And this is also important for filing our CDP scoring and other scoring. So we can use this scoring in order to cross check like all the dimensions and all the automotive, plastic industry, construction and engineering industry, are they doing? Are they following the same score? So this is a universal score. Any industry can apply this and file their ESG dimension based on that. This is an example here from the construction and engineering, but they have weightage for almost each and every industry. And here is a three pillars again, like environmental means lie within the means of our natural resources, and economic require a business or country uses its resources efficiently and responsibly. So it's a quick recap what we have discussed till now. And social is the ability of society to persistently achieve a good social well-being. And to understand the sustainability, so till now we have discussed, like from 90s we have started different conventions in order to make resources more available and the usage of those resources more sustainably. And what are the three pillars in order to do that? And now, like, in order to understand sustainability, we also have to understand the carrying capacity of this earth, or is this entire planet. So like, carrying capacity means like how much we are consuming the natural resources, and at the same time how much we are regenerating and producing the waste product. So is this a closed loop or a linear loop? Like linear loop means we are consuming, we are not thinking about how much we are generating as a waste and is there any regeneration mechanism. And if we are following the linear loop, then that should definitely hamper the earth carrying capacity. And everybody must know about, like, there is a term called circular economy, and everybody wants to work towards that, because circular economy means like it's a closed loop. If we are consuming the resources, at the same time we are generating, and also we are using the waste product or the bias product for the conversion of different another substances. So the definition of earth carrying capacity is like maximum rate of resource consumption and waste discharge that can be sustained indefinitely in a given region without progressively impairing the function integrity. It means like the resource can be consumed at a maximum rate, but waste should be sustained in a given region without impairing the natural resources of the defined ecosystem.